Hooray!
Art with us!
Is it a wedding portrait or a painting of a deceased wife?
Today, we're going to talk about one of the most famous paintings in the world, the Arnolfini Portrait by Jan van Eyck, who was a Flemish artist working for the Duke of Burgundy.
First of all, it's worth noting that the painting is generally in very good condition, despite some small losses of original paint and damages that have mostly been retouched.
The painting depicts a wealthy merchant named Giovanni di Niccolao Arnolfini and his wife.
They are standing in a luxurious room, surrounded by expensive objects and textiles.
The painting is full of details and realism, which was a hallmark of Van Eyck's style.
Van Eyck was a master of oil painting, and he used this technique to create a sense of depth and texture in the painting.
He also used a technique called disguised symbolism, which means that he hid symbolic elements in the painting that are not immediately obvious to the viewer.
We can see a couple in an upstairs room during early summer, as indicated by the fruits on the cherry tree outside the window.
The room itself likely functioned as a reception room, with a chest and bed used for seating as was fashionable in France and Burgundy at the time.
Let's take a moment to examine the couple's attire.
They are dressed extravagantly, with fur-lined outer garments, despite the warm weather.
The man's tabard and the woman's dress were likely made of expensive sable, ermine, or miniver fur.
The man wears a doublet of intricately patterned material under his tabard, while the woman's dress features elaborate dagging on the sleeves and a long train.
Her blue underdress is also adorned with white fur.
Though the woman wears a simple gold necklace and the couple's rings are the only visible jewelry, their clothing would have cost a fortune.
My name is Pavla, and welcome to my channel. Join me, an artist passionate about sharing knowledge, as I welcome my husband Peter to our video today.
Let's discover,
laugh,
and learn
together.
And to add some excitement, stay tuned until the end for some slightly controversial jokes about the Arnolfini portrait.
And don't miss out on more videos about Eyck and other Northern Renaissance masters.
Check out our playlist in the video description.
One of the most debated elements of the painting is the identity of the woman.
Some scholars believe that she is Arnolfini's wife, while others think that she is a concubine or a mistress.
The fact that she is pregnant adds to the mystery, as it could suggest that she is a surrogate or a symbol of fertility.
The way that she is holding her dress up with one hand and her belly with the other has been interpreted as a gesture of modesty or a sign of pregnancy.
Another interesting element of the painting is the fruit on the windowsill.
The oranges and lemons were exotic and expensive fruits in the 15th century.
The way that the couple is holding hands has also been the subject of much debate.
Some scholars believe that it's a sign of affection and intimacy, while others think that it's a gesture of business partnership or legal agreement.
The way that Van Eyck depicted the light and shadow in the painting has been interpreted as a reference to the divine.
The light seems to be coming from a window on the left side of the painting, which has been interpreted as a symbol of the divine light of God.
The way that the light illuminates the faces of the couple and the objects in the room has been interpreted as a sign of God's grace and favor.
So what does all this symbolism mean?
Well, that's the subject of much debate among art historians.
Some scholars believe that the painting is a wedding portrait, while others think it's a memorial to a deceased wife.
Some see it as a celebration of the merchant class and their wealth, while others see it as a religious allegory.
Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the painting is the mirror in the background, which shows two figures just inside the door that the couple is facing.
The second figure is presumably the artist, Jan van Eyck, as scholars have made this assumption based on the appearance of figures wearing red headdresses in some of his other works.
Some scholars believe that these figures are witnesses to a marriage ceremony, while others think that they represent the couple's deceased parents.
The painting is signed, inscribed, and dated on the wall above the mirror with the words Jan van Eyck was here 1434, which appears to be painted in large letters on the wall.
This signature is one of the earliest and most famous examples of an artist signing his work.
Let's take a look at the little dog in the foreground.
It could represent fidelity and loyalty, reflecting the couple's desire to remain devoted to each other.
Alternatively, it could be a symbol of their longing for a child, as dogs were often associated with fertility.
Moving on to the woman's dress, the green color could symbolize hope, possibly signifying her desire to become a mother.
The intense brightness of the color also suggests their wealth, as it was difficult and expensive to dye fabric such a shade.
Her white cap could represent purity or her married status.
In the background, the open curtains of the marriage bed hint at the physical act of love, with the red curtains perhaps alluding to passion and desire.
The single candle on the ornate chandelier could represent the candle used in traditional Flemish marriage customs.
But why is it lit in full daylight?
It may allude to the presence of the Holy Ghost or the ever-watchful eye of God.
Another interpretation suggests that it could be a visual metaphor. He lives on, she is dead.
Let's not forget the cherries on the tree outside the window, which may symbolize love.
Meanwhile, the oranges on the windowsill could represent purity and innocence.
These fruits were rare and expensive in the Netherlands, but in Italy, they were seen as symbols of fecundity in marriage.
Now let's take a closer look at the shoes worn by the man in the painting, his pattens.
These shoes were created to protect indoor shoes from outdoor weather.
It's interesting to note that in the painting, the man has removed his pattens.
This could be seen as a symbol of his loyalty to his wife, suggesting that he would not marry again after her passing due to religious beliefs.
This idea supports the widely accepted theory that the woman in the painting was portrayed posthumously.
What did the Arnolfini couple say when they saw their portrait for the first time?
Wow, we look so real. It's like we're in a mirror.
Why did the Arnolfini couple choose to have a candle burning during the day in their portrait?
Because they wanted to set the mood for a romantic dinner.
What did the Arnolfini couple say when they saw their portrait hanging in a museum?
We're famous. We're finally hanging out with the big shots like Mona Lisa and The Scream. What do you think?
Was the Arnolfini portrait a painting depicting a happy marriage or mourning for a deceased wife?
What actually happened there?
We're very curious to hear your thoughts, so please write to us in the comments and let us know what you think.
The Arnolfini Portrait by Jan van Eyck is a masterpiece of Renaissance art.
Its use of symbolism, realism, and oil painting techniques make it a landmark work in the history of art.
Whether you see it as a wedding portrait, a religious allegory,
or something else entirely, there's no denying the power and beauty of this painting.
Take care with love.